Most of the fencing on our property is getting pretty haggard. Most of the wooden H-posts have rotted and need to be replaced. Realistically, we're due to replace everything, but we don't have a budget for that. What I do have is some steel pipe that I can probably make 1 or 2 H-posts out of to tackle some of the problem areas. This is a typical H-post. It's made up of 2 vertical posts, a cross brace, and a diagonal tension wire. Your fence wire stretches across the brace post and ties off to the anchor post. Without this cross brace and the diagonal tension wire, the tension of the fence pulls your anchor post over. You can see this one here, this diagonal tension wire is actually broken, and it's allowing the whole fence to go slack. The wood on this H-post is actually okay. I do need to replace this diagonal tension wire because it is broken and it is pulling this whole H-post sideways and keeping the fence from being able to get tightened. I'm pretty sure the other end also needs to get some kind of repair, but that's not real high on our priority list today. Instead of wood, today I'll be using this drill stem I've had kicking around to make our H-post. Drill stem is relatively inexpensive, and with current wood prices, it would cost about the same as if I had to buy more of this pipe. After cutting it down to size, I have to cope the cross brace so there aren't any gaps and I can weld all the way around the joint. I've done quite a lot of this and I'm pretty comfortable doing it with just an angle grinder. At 2 3/8, I just guesstimated about 3/4 of an inch, it'd be about 1/3. And I left just a tiny bit of the little plunge cut, mostly just so I have a reference for where the center of it is supposed to be. I'll leave a little tiny bit of it after it's all done, but now I basically just have to come round out from the inside lip from here and make a nice round profile to the end of it that will accept this tube, and we'll do the rest of that with a 1/4 inch hard stone. That's pretty close. I went too deep. I don't actually want to take this all the way to the edge because I want to be able to weld the full thickness of this down to the lower pipe. So I have a little bit of a gap to fill on this side, it looks like. There we go. I don't know what these are, but this whole pipe is full of these nuts. The advantage to a welded steel H-post is there is no need for any diagonal bracing. You just drop it in the ground and wire it up. And as you can see with my H-post example, these diagonal tension braces can be a problem sometimes. To make the hinges, I found this old bumper bracket in my scrap pile. It'll need to be flattened out and have some holes put in it for the hinge pins, as well as some sort of way to adjust it. With it heated in the forge, I can flatten it and cut it down to size. I'm doing this in the forge because the hinge pins are 5/8 of an inch and I don't have an appropriate drill bit. I'm pretty sure these were made from spring steel, and they probably wouldn't have been easy to drill holes in. But punching holes hot is second nature for me, so this went pretty quick and didn't ruin any of my drill bits. After everything was welded together, it was time to get out the old Massey Ferguson and drill some holes. I'm really glad to have this auger, but it is a bit of a pain to get connected. And a couple taps with the slight adjuster. I did concrete these posts in. Now I'll wait a few days for the concrete to set before I tension the fence and hang the gate. I previously just guessed as far as where to drill these. If this doesn't work out, I'm actually going to go back and cut this into a big slot. But I don't know if it will or won't work. We'll try and find out and modify later if we have to. Okay, I just have it sitting on an automotive jack stand on the other side there. And that looks pretty close. Oh. Let's see if it works out. I can already tell I'm going to have to do some grinding on the bottom hinge to get this bolted up before I worry about that too much. There's a lot more slop in that bottom hinge than I expected. I've got my slots cut in for the top hinge. Got a little grinder with that cutting disc on it so that I can round off the corners on that bottom hinge because they're interfering with the gate. See how terrible this looks. It looks like I'm going to have to find a way to take the sag out of the gate. Probably gonna have to cut and splice this on the other end to actually get it tight. Maybe not. Alright, so we're pretty much done here. This probably needs to be adjusted again, but I'm going to wait for this post and the gate and everything to settle before I try to mess with it again. I got the bottom hinge clears, just barely, but it only needs to just clear. The top wire here got a bunch more slack in it after I got the lower ones tensioned. Which I should have actually expected. I'm going to have to go down to the other end of the fence and make sure that the H post on the other end hasn't completely failed. But we've got quite a bit of slack up here, and this one it's got this bad splice in it that I didn't see until I was already putting it back together. I'm going to need to redo this splice. So I know this one's going to have to get retensioned anyway. And then I'm just going to go down, find a bad spot in the wire, and splice it somewhere it's kinked or something like that, so I'm not wasting a splice right up at the end. Yeah, we're expecting some rain later this week, and I'm hoping that'll soften the ground up a little bit so that I can get these extra posts out. Well, this sucks. This H post is completely toast. I'm either going to have to come up with a new cross brace or put in a new H post altogether. So with that bad H post on that far side, I don't want to retension both of these top wires. I'm going to go ahead and repair the one that has the bad splice on it now, but I'm going to save that top wire for when I do something with the other side and fix that H post or replace it, or I don't know what I'm going to do. If I'm being honest, I don't actually even know what kind of splice this is or anything. Just how some fences got spliced at a property I saw once, and I just really liked the look of this splice. There are probably much better, stronger, whatever ways to do it. But so far, I haven't seen any kind of issues with it post. Yikes! Unfortunately, I'm going to have to make some time in the next couple weeks to fix that other H post so I can get the rest of the fence tensioned. So I hope you found this interesting. If you did, I've got a lawnmower I've been working on, trying to put in a universal fuel tank in place of a non-available plastic OEM tank. I should have that done in the next couple days here and get a video out in a few days after that. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.